Hi everybody, and thanks for tuning in. The title of my presentation is Optimal Management of Western Baltic Cod and Herring Fisheries under Climate Change. So this is a bit long and maybe boring title. Therefore, I decided to frame this talk in a more consumer-friendly way. And as we are in the US, I came up with the idea of presenting my results of the pre-game analysis of a hypothetical upcoming football game. Please to apologize, but I'm from Germany, therefore I do not have very much ideas about American football, but here we go. So welcome to today's play in the European CFP Football League. My name is Rudi Voss and I'm your moderator. Today we are here at the Western Baltic Field. The Western Baltic Field is a rather small stadium in Northern Europe. However, it has some special features. For example, we do have brackish water conditions. It's a small area bordering Denmark, Sweden and Germany, but it has always been of a high interest for fisheries. Over the last decades, the area has been strongly impacted by climate change. While salinity kept constant, almost constant, oxygen levels decreased considerably. Temperature, on the other hand, increased. In sea surface temperature, we had an increase of roughly 1.3 degrees from 1990 to 2020. So compared to pre-industrial times, we already passed the 2-degree target in the Western Baltic Sea. We also find increasingly marine heat waves. These marine heat waves do appear more often, they are getting more intense and they are getting longer. And this is especially true since 2012. All this poses, of course, serious threats to the ecosystem. In our today's game, we will have two local teams playing, and we will try to analyze which of the teams is going to win. On the one hand, we do have the Team MSY, the Munich Schnitzel Youngsters, also known as Maximum Sustainable Yield. On the other hand, we do have the Team MEY, the Munich Eisbein Young Boys, also known as Maximum Economic Yield. But now it's time to welcome our first guest, which is Jörn Smith from Eisbein, the Ingolstadt City Eagle Sauerkrauts. Jörn used to be the quarterback of Eisbein, but just recently announced his parting. Welcome, Jörn. So, Jörn, could you please tell us something about the strengths and weaknesses of both teams? Thanks a lot, Rudi. Yes, I will try and start with the offense. So the offense is best described by the common offense descriptors, or short COD. If we look at one sub-indicator, the Save 7 Balls SSB indicator, we do see a strong decrease over the last 2 decades. Same is true for catch level, which also decreased, and in most recent years there's almost no catch left. Now let's look at the defense. The defense can be best summarized by looking at more dense defense formations like herding and more widespread defense formations building kind of ring. So this yields our indicator herring. If we look at the defense herring, we also see that the SSB decreased considerably over the last 2 decades, as did catch. And as for cod, almost no catch is left in the most recent years. Now let's have a look at the fan base. So the fan base can be best described by the number of sold beer, olives and t-shirts over the year, yielding the indicator boats. And as you can see here, the number of boats decreased as well as did the catches. Okay, now let's welcome our second guest, Mrs. Elisa U. Policy, or in short, EU Policy. Elisa will tell us how our forecast system works and what team is expected to win. Well, thanks for having me, Rudi. Yes, if we want to predict which team is actually going to win, we will have to include the environmental effects. And this we did by including temperature in the stock recruitment function. So for herring, we included bottom temperature in the fourth quarter before spawning. For cod, we used sea surface temperature in the third quarter before spawning. For both stock recruitment relationships, including temperature, significantly improved the fit of the function. These are statistical relationships, but we have a quite good understanding of the underlying ecological processes. In the next step, we included these temperature-dependent stock recruitment functions in our main model. This main model includes an interaction between offense and defense, so between cod and herring. It is an age-structured optimization model and gives us the optimal size of catches, SSB, as well as profits for both of the teams MSY and MEY over time. Okay, Jörn, that sounds interesting. Do you have an upfront guess which team is going to win? Oh, no, I'm really looking forward to these scenarios which Elisa is going to present. Okay, we will start with SSB development. If we assume no further climate change, then the stocks are at least partly going to recover. However, under MEY, the stocks are going to build up a bit higher. If we assume climate change, then especially cod is not recovering as well, but still under MEY the stocks would be a bit higher. So we can say MEY rebuilds to a higher stock size. And this means touchdown MEY! Yes. So next we are going to look at the catch potential. It is obvious that climate impact reduces the catch potential for cod and herring. The future catch potential for cod is low, even if we would assume constant climate. And the catch potential decreases over time due to the increasing effect of temperature. But there are no big differences between MSY and MEY, and therefore we can say field goal on both sides. Okay, now let's have a look at the total economic surplus. As we can expect, MEY is doing better in terms of economics than MSY. This is in the range of 4 to 5 million euros per year. So we do have a higher economic surplus for MEY, and that means another touchdown for MEY. They are leading by 17-3. Okay, so that was total economic surplus, but what about producer surplus? Because this might be even more interesting for the fishery itself. Yes, this is really interesting, because if we look at producer surplus for the cod fishery, it is actually higher under MSY, and this applies for both climate change scenarios. Therefore, higher producer surplus for MSY. This means touchdown MSY, they are back, what a game! If we look at herring, producer surplus is also higher for MSY, but only under constant climate. Under RCP 4.5 scenario, MEY is getting higher producer surplus. But what is this? A flag on the field. What does it mean? Okay, if we look at the optimal time path, actually we get a penalty and both games should stop playing for 2 to 4 years. That is quite hard. So, in summary, we can say that cod and herring are in a really bad condition. Recovery is needed and a timeout of 2 to 4 years is urgently needed. Multispecies MEY management is superior to multispecies MSY, at least according to our model framework. In any case, we will need to deal with the limited future catch potential, especially of cod. So, what should the supporters do? They will need to search for adaptation options, and this kind of adaptation is also of high political interest to become a sustainable fishery also in the future. Further diversification of the fishery might be a solution. If you're interested in this, check out my other talk, which is going to be on Thursday in the session on participatory modeling and stakeholder engagement. I'm looking forward to that one as well. So, thanks a lot and hopefully see you around. Bye-bye.